It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it to your friends, come on.
Come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got you tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling Wednesday 8 and 9 and it's on.
Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show at night. It is the Sinclair Show where we do what you want to do when you want to do it how you want to do it. First of all, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions and comments to sinclairtalk@outlook.com. We're going to continue to address as many as possible each night we're on the air to reach you because you all are the valued listener. Now, what does that mean to me? It means there would be no reason for me to be here if you all hadn't been rocking with me for all these years. We about 7, 8 years in the game right now, people. And I'm telling you, sometimes I get a little tired and I be saying to myself, man, I ain't even going to do the show tonight. And then I think about you all out there. And I come on into work so we can put it in. Look here, people, we got a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. And I just want to let y'all know that this the last night of June, and June being men's month. Man, I've been trying to uplift my brothers for the whole month. Just seems like some of y'all ain't gonna do right. But we're gonna talk about a lot of different stuff tonight. Let me see who is on the air. I see Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard. Now, she back in Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City. And remember, I'm gonna tell y'all something too. Some of y'all don't like to claim y'all little small areas of the world. Some of y'all get out here and y'all get to claim them big spots. Y'all be saying stuff like, oh, I'm from Charlotte, I'm from Atlanta, I'm from New York City, I'm from all these other places. Let me tell y'all something. Most people are not from some big city. Most of y'all from on the outskirts. That's right. I'm telling the truth on y'all tonight. I'm tired of y'all out here pretending to be from somewhere big time. I ain't talking about where you live now, that you got a little few extra dollars in your pocket. I'm talking about where you're really from. You know, the same place you used to run barefoot at, when you used to climb trees, when you used to be out there getting whoopings with switches, when you used to play hide and go seek. Some of y'all used to. Some of y'all used to play other stuff. But anyway, that's for a different show. I'm just trying to tell you, be proud of where you're from. Let me say, there's Nikki Carter. What's going on, Nikki Carter? Nikki Carter, are we getting along tonight or are we fighting? I just need to know up front if this is going to be a good night or it's going to be a fight night. Because I'm prepared for either. And for those of you who are always defending Nikki Carter, let me say something. While she is the little arch nemesis for me, you know, I appreciate Nikki and all that she brings to the show. So I don't want y'all to get in y'all feelings. But some of y'all be wanting to go to war for Nikki, and I don't even be understanding. She ain't even really that nice. That right there. However, whatever, whenever. All right. So let me see. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. And I'm going to start. What is Nikki talking about? Nikki says she don't know. It depends on the topics. All right. So, Nikki, let me say this. We're going to start off in the, you say you got time today too? Y'all see how she's trying to be the provocateur to me. All I want to do is get on with the show. She already pre-prepping me for the battle royal. Y'all, there go Cassandra. What's going on, girl? The legal beagle. We glad to see Cassandra. I always need you to come on because I be needing a lawyer on this show at all times. I need somebody legally savvy enough to keep me from getting myself in the hot water. Anyway, so somebody had asked me before I went on the show, what's my step count? Let me look it up right here on the phone right now, because see, some of y'all don't be believing a brother. I don't understand. It's like black men, we don't get no credit for nothing. Let me see if y'all can see that. They say my steps for the day is 8,410. I done walked 4.26 miles. And matter of fact, I like the way that show up, so I can go and show y'all what my monthly total is. Since y'all be thinking I be misleading y'all. I don't know if y'all can see that, but if you can, it say 157,692 steps for the month, 76.63 miles. Yeah, that right there. I know some of y'all saying, oh, just a few days ago, he was in them 50s, then them 60s. Anymore, what's going on? Glad to see you tonight. Everybody, there's Detective Pamela Black. Glad she's in the house. Let me see. What nigga? Yeah. What's the daycare team talent? Hey, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know what the daycare team tally is. First of all, let me get it right because they be trying to get a little aggressive with me. It's not a daycare. It's after daycare. It's like for the little people. It ain't kindergarten. I think it's like something like kindergarten. I don't know, but it ain't daycare. Please, please, please do not say daycare because some of them be ear hustling and they love to go back and tell it, he said we got a daycare. That is not what I said. I said they provide a learning for little people. You said preschool, that's what we gonna call it. We gonna call it Mims, why you ain't type it up there? Mims gonna text me talking about something. It's called pre-K. Well, why you ain't say it up there? I watch talking to me. Detective Pamela Black said it's called Head Start. All right, whatever. Listen, people, I just don't want to get it wrong because I accidentally said daycare or something similar, and I can tell y'all firsthand. I got some information the next day that was unfavorable. Mims, you talking about you can't get in? It must be that newfound internet you got. Y'all, Mims talking about he can't get in. That's on him. Let me see what he talking about, people. Oh, he say he watching on YouTube. See, y'all, we everywhere. That's right. We on Facebook. We on Twitch. We on YouTube. So I appreciate the fact that Mims is on live watching us on YouTube. And you too can too, people. Some of y'all don't want to get caught out here on Facebook. Well, some of y'all don't want to get caught out here on Facebook because all the stuff you do on Facebook. But that's a different topic, different day. But if you want to catch us on YouTube, you can. So just rock with that. Let me see what else we got going on. So, yeah, so for all the haters, 157,692 steps for the month of June, 76.63 miles is where we at right now. Check yourselves on that. Let me see. Look at my mama. Hey, mama. What's going on, mama? Yeah, that right there. So anyway, what we gonna talk about tonight, man? We got a couple of different things to talk about. I know a couple of them gonna make y'all mad because some of you all, I ain't gonna say all, but some of y'all hit me up today because y'all didn't like my message today. Why does my Facebook post upset y'all sometimes? That's what I want to know. I don't even be talking about none of y'all. And matter of fact, my Facebook post today was supposed to be uplifting to my brothers. For those of you who didn't get a chance to peruse through it, I'm going to read it to you, and y'all let me know why the public gets mad with me. This is what it said. It said, today is day 57 of the 60. Today is day 57 of 60 in the Complete Me Challenge. Today, as the month of June comes closer to ending, as the final opportunity in the Western world to celebrate men comes to a close, I decided to write a letter to my brothers, a letter to all men. And here's what it said, people. It said, dear brothers, I more than most struggle with the way that society has portrayed us for years. Yet we are not without fault in that narrative. We have allowed our image to be painted as unworthy of the title of kings, head of households, business leaders, fathers, honorable, trustworthy, dependable, caring, intelligent, attentive, as protectors, providers, critical thinkers, and lovers of our community. Society has been able to control our image narrative, in part because they, some, not all, always feared the day that we would remember our worth. They began planning, even before we got off the slave ships in the New World, how to take a strong physical specimen, break him mentally so he would become dependent and underappreciated amongst his own. At first, it was to beat and sexually humiliate us in front of our women and children. Then it was to uplift our women to a status higher than us in our homes and community. Then in the 60s, through a welfare act, they presented the option to our women of financial support, the same that for 5 years or more white households had received. Yet now they added a special provision that there could be no man in the house in order to receive those benefits. Then through resource distribution tactics, they systematically made it easier for women and mothers to get assistance in other areas like food stamps, Medicare, etc., all with the requirement she be without a husband or a man. Never has a nation been more deliberate in the destruction of one's value than what has been done to men, and specifically men of color. We gave into these plans by becoming everything they portrayed us as. They called us animals and savages. Then they dropped guns and drugs in our streets, and instead of resisting them, we began selling the drugs and killing our own. They called us unintelligent. Then instead of absorbing knowledge and reading and focusing and preparing, many of us dropped out and hit that block. They labeled us as unable to love and care for our children, trained women to hate the word submissive and loyal. Then because they defied us and demeaned us in front of children, we left and became absent fathers. They said we could not show care and sensitive affection to our women. Then they taught them that it was okay to cheat on your man, sell and display your bodies, everything that would make a man leave. And so we left. I'm reminding you today because you are better than this narrative. We are strong creators. We are protectors and leaders. And yes, we are kings. We are God-fearing and purposed. It is time we begin a new marketing campaign. We tell our own story in truth. We ensure that our sons and daughters know how we feel about them, that we pray before we choose a spouse for reasons other than looks, so God will give you what is yours and not what is everyone's. We must protect what is ours because it is ours, and not be afraid to be verbal and sensitive about our feelings, our goals, and our dreams. Represent well, my brothers. I love you. Now that's what I wrote today. And all of a sudden the hate mail started coming. And I want to say this to women. Just because you uplift one demographic does not mean you are tearing down another. I never said that you all were wrong for utilizing the resources. I never said that you weren't caught between a rock and a hard place if you were dealing with a man back in the 60s who could not find employment, but the government offered you $400 and some a month, and they decided that they would give you food stamps and medical that would help provide for your kids. I'm not saying that that was an easy choice. This wasn't about you all. This was to let my brothers know that this wasn't just something that occurred by happenstance. Now, let me say this, ladies. Let me tell you what is your fault. The part of this, what's going on, James? Glad to see you on the show tonight. What is your fault, ladies, is your failure to recognize and adapt to the process. A process that you could have changed the narrative along the way at any point. You could have said, yeah, look, I may have had some challenges in my relationship, but not labeled your man as being a deadbeat or worthless. You could have said that I got into a relationship with someone when I was young, and it didn't work out because we both grew in different directions. And not allow your girlfriends, your homies, your huddle ministries, if you will, to contaminate him image-wise and label him in this mass group of men ain't about nothing and they all deadbeats. And as we said before, yes, there are men who are deadbeats. We're not defending everybody. But my letter today was not about the fact that there have been some atrocities afflicted on the character of men in general, but specifically to minority men. It was just to let us know, hey, keep your head up. We not what they say we are in most cases. There are a lot of good brothers out here. They just don't get no airplay. They don't get that recognition. Nobody stands up for the good guy because it's easier to talk about the trifling dude as you see him. And we need to talk about it again. This is about the last night we got in the month of June. And I told y'all June is the only month that men even get any recognition. And it's marginal at best. I mean, I know good dudes. Let me say that. And I know some young men trying to become good dudes. But because of the legacy that has been put in place for years and years and years, how could they possibly know what it means? Imagine this, people. Imagine a young man today, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. In the 80s, we started this foolery. But let's process what I was about to say. Imagine a young man today growing up in America in a home where it is likely to be a single parent home, at least some portion of his growing up time. And even if it's not, we've already determined, statistically speaking, 82% of homes in America where there is two parents, there is what? There is a stepfather in that home. But imagine being a young man today in America, growing up in a single parent home where the mother, who is normally the custodial guardian, all right? And I like to keep technical terms because you don't stop being a father because you're not physically there. One parent is the custodial parent. The other then becomes, by default, the non-custodial parent. And because men are normally the non-custodial parent, not always, but sometimes, then the young man who may be a little small one in pre-K, if you will, he grows up in a home where he is more likely to hear his mother, his sisters, his grandmother, his great-grandmother talking negative about men than he is to hear them uplifting a man. Now, some of you will say, well, Uncle Sinclair, why is that important? Why is it pertinent to this information? It's important because of this. There is no greater influencer in the home or in a child's life than the mother. Would you all agree? Y'all done got mighty quiet out there tonight. I don't know why. I ain't asking y'all to take the SAT test. Y'all see that? They say vintage 1971. Y'all don't know nothing about that. But anyway, so because the mother is the most influential person in the home, how can a young man grow up to feel good about being a man if a portion of the time, whether it's 25, 50, 75, depending on the emotion of the woman slash mother, how can that young man grow up to be proud to be a man if everything he hears, or a significant portion of what he hears about his own gender, is derogatory? I'm just asking. I don't want to fight tonight, people. I ain't trying to fight. I know Nikki Carter probably is, but I'm not trying to fight with y'all tonight. But I want you to consider those things. How does a young man become a proud young man? How does he get to a point where he wants to stand up and look in the mirror and he wants to be something great? If he hears mama talking derogatory all the time about either daddy or some man. Uh-oh. We got a newbie. Vanessa Moore talking about that goes both ways. See, Vanessa, here's the problem. I never said it wasn't. And what I'm not going to allow women to do tonight, because this topic is not about something negative. I'm trying to get you to focus on what a man might go through. I don't need you to say it goes both ways. That's what I like to term as y'all shifting the dialogue from what we're trying to get as a point. I'm not saying women don't go through stuff. I'm not saying that there aren't men that talk negatively about women. That ain't the topic for tonight. Right now, what we're talking about is, how does a young man who grows up in that environment find pride in being a young man if what he hears about men is derogatory? Anymore said, I read your article and I agree with you. It's sad but true. Our black men have always had to struggle to prove their worth. Thank you, Annie. See, that's a seasoned woman right there. And see, I don't want this to turn into a battle of the sexes, if you will. I want you guys to open your eyes and understand this isn't about the blame game. This is about understanding what a young man would go through, especially a young minority male. And the reason why I am focusing in on the minority piece is because I don't see as much on social media, on TV, where our Anglo-Saxon brothers and sisters, specifically our Anglo-Saxon sisters, are out there publicly demeaning white men. I don't see our Asian women out there publicly. I'm not saying they ain't got problems in their home, but you have yet to see a mass production of propaganda putting it out there to tear down white men, Latino men, Asian men. There has been a systematic effort to tear down black men. And again, we're not defending all. Okay? We're definitely not defending all. Because we know for a fact that there are trifling men out there. We know this. But tonight, I'm asking the question, how can a young boy, a young man, grow up and be proud to be a young man if he doesn't see the positiveness in being one? You all wonder why some, not all, young men find it easier and more peaceful to walk around putting on their sister's clothes and their mama's heels, because they're accepted more as being gay in some homes than they would be a strong young man. And it's not right. It's not fair. But you have to say to yourself, if this is what they hear, and there is no person more influential than mama. Let me see, who is this? Mr. Ernest Harding, glad to see you on tonight. He said that's why dad should be in their lives. I agree. Let me see what Vanessa is saying. Vanessa is very active tonight. She says, as a village as yourself, helping to deter them from the negative mind frame. I listen, and that's why we're talking about it tonight on the last night we'll have in the only month that supports men. But it shouldn't have to come down to that. And I'm simply asking, Mims, look, Mims, because he can't get in, he want to send me all of his comments through text. Mims said, non-threatening gay men. And listen, I am not talking, I do not want those in the LBGTQ plus community to think that when I say that, just because I have a different spiritual belief, you all know my premise is this. Everybody has to answer to God for whatever they choose to do in their life. It doesn't matter what it is. I just believe that what I don't do is I don't burn a lot of energy trying to judge someone because what they chose to do. I just like to tell them, hey, look, this is what I rock with. So I don't want y'all sending me no hate mail and pitchforks and pitchforks with rainbows on them or nothing like that. Because I don't have a problem with what you choose to do with your life. I just need you to know that whatever we do is a consequence. So when I say it is easier for a young black man to be gay in some homes than it is for him to be a man, I'm not saying that from a negative place or thought. I'm saying it because I want our women to grasp and comprehend that the way you talk about men within your home has an impact on what your son may become. Because sons want to please mama. Somebody said to me not long ago that I was a mama's boy. All right? Let me see what Leetta talking about. Leetta said, that's where the male mentors come in at, like yourself. I agree, but I want us to begin the mindset of considering the influence in the home, because I can only get to a certain amount. Thomas Mims can only get to a certain amount. James Key can only get to a certain amount. There's only so much. We need a conscious effort of thought to say, what am I doing around my son, and how will it impact how he feels about himself and others? That's what I want y'all to consider, because it is not an easy thing. And for those who got in their feelings about when I wrote today, I was writing it to my brothers. I accept responsibility that we didn't have to pick the guns up and the drugs up and all these things. I know this. We know it was a plot and a ploy. Vanessa said being nurturing and then aggressive can be a hard role to play in a son's life. Okay, that's factual. I'll give you credit on that one. But I want you all to understand, because sometimes we fail to comprehend the magnitude of what a man has had to go through, and specifically in minority communities. When you think about it, and these are facts that I'm telling you, you can look them up for yourself. When they first began that Welfare Act and white homes was receiving that stipend, if you will, never did they tell a white family that you have to put out the man in order to receive the $300 or $400 that they were given. Big Rod, what's going on? Glad to see you on the show. That wasn't a stipulation for them. But 3 months after they opened it up for minority mothers to be able to receive, they created the no-knock process where they could just walk up at any time of the day and night, knock on your door to validate you didn't have a man in the home. Think about it. That's the government systematically at that time saying, hey, we know how to get rid of and break these minority families. We'll make it more financially feasible for her to not be with them than to be with them. Don't get mad at me. These are facts. When we go and we skip a little further, remember, and I didn't even put this in my letter from today. Can you all remember the time when you got a certain amount of welfare dollars based on the number of kids you have? And back in them 70s and 80s, black folks was booming with babies. What is Mim talking? Mim said, and had the nerve to create the movie Claudine. Look, Mims, you better find a way to get on Facebook, because I ain't gonna keep you popping in on my watch and everything. But think about it. When we went from the Welfare Act to saying the more babies you have, the more money we gonna give you, black women, minority women start saying, hey, I have me a couple of extras of these little babies. Babies they already couldn't afford. Many of them didn't care that it wasn't like they was all trying to have them by the same dude. And again, we're not judging. They were presented with a concept, and the concept was, you Negroes aren't getting jobs, and the jobs you're getting are not paying well, but I'm gonna make it more cost effective for you to stay home as long as you're pregnant, because the more kids you have, the more bread we gonna give you, the more money we gonna give you, the more food stamps we gonna give you. And think about this. Ernest said Bill Clinton put a cap on that and stopped that mess. After 5 years of welfare, it ended. You're right. But look at what was going on prior to Bill Clinton. Nikki Carter said, definitely some trifling men out there. Nikki Carter, is that what you got out of all this? Everything we talking about right now, and Nikki Carter got out of it, trifling men. Nikki Carter, listen, I didn't want to go to war with you tonight because I realized everything. Look, James had already popped up and said women too. Let me see what Leetta said. Leetta said it was all to demasculate the black man and destroy the black families. Absolutely. And Leetta Cole is on it tonight. Annie Moore said, today some of these young girls are still booming with babies. Well, let me say this to you now, Annie Moore. If these young girls is having a bunch of babies today, it ain't because there's no fiscal benefit to it. Vanessa said that was the mind frame of any low self-esteem woman, not just black women. Hold on, Vanessa. I don't know. You and Nikki Carter might be kindred spirits. Let me say this to you. Again, Vanessa, we're not going to categorize black women from that era as having low self-esteem. They had a low option pool, if you will. Remember something now. We've already said they weren't handing out well-paying jobs to minorities back in the 60s and 70s and early 80s. So if I didn't give you, if you're not getting a good job, you can't provide for your family, but the government comes in and says, oh, don't worry about it. The more kids you have, the more money we'll give you. That doesn't mean that the woman had low self-esteem. That means she did some calculations and said, I might get a job making $4, $3.75 an hour, but I'm going to get $400 per child. So, and it was unlimited at some point. I want you all to process that this is not the blame game. Vanessa said women who don't know their value. That's not the case. I'm not rocking with you with that because I don't believe that the women that took advantage of that system, it was because they didn't know their value. I believe they looked at the options that was presented to them. Again, this is not about tearing down women who took advantage of a broken system. This is about understanding how that system impacted men. That's all I'm saying. Jay Dizzle, what's going on, big homie? I'm glad you jumped into the show, man. We got some more people out here. That's Nikki Carter and got a kindred spirit, I think. Vanessa said, well, I mean, poor mindset. Again, wrong choice of words in my personal opinion, because I don't know how you say to a woman with bad options that you took the wrong option if they was all bad. Nikki Carter, you ain't gonna defend women against what Vanessa talking about? Anyway, so again, I want y'all to process this. They took y'all, they created the Welfare Act, then they designed it so that, hey, you got a man, we're gonna stop your check. But as long as you don't have no man in the home, keep getting your money. They pushed it down and said, plus, however many babies you have, we're gonna pay you for it. People, matter of fact, I want y'all to process this. Process this. Let me see what Vanessa's talking about. Well, I mean, poor mindset. Well, yeah, whatever. All right, I want y'all to process this. Look at this from the 10,000 foot view. The government creates a program that says, don't have men in the house. Then we're going to stop paying you. And the very same government comes by and says, but I want you to keep having more babies. I don't want you to have a husband or a man. I'm going to stop your check. But I'll pay you to have more babies. How does that fit in? Leetta said the system was formulated to keep the black families in a specific class in society. Absolutely. Ernest Harden said women receive larger Section 8 homes, more food stamps, more money for having more kids, even utility checks and WIC vouchers, free daycare. Absolutely. Kiki Matthews said, aloha, y'all. She coming to y'all from Hawaii. Jane said they wanted to keep the black home divided. Absolutely, they did. Nikki said, why did the man leave the home? Nikki Carter, let me say something to you. First of all, that is an excellent assessment. I believe that some men left probably because they were trifling. But I believe there's a larger section of those men that left because if I can't provide for my son and daughter or my wife, if I can't provide for them, but I sit down with her and I say, if I leave, I know you all gonna be all right. I'll stop by from time to time, but if I leave this home, I am providing for you because I know you're gonna be able to get that assistance that you can't get with me here. I'm out here working for $3 an hour and it won't pay the bills. But if I leave, they'll give my wife and my kids a home to stay in. When you ask the question, why did they leave? Some of them left because they are kings. Some of them left because they were honorable. Some of them left because they said it is easier for me to be on the street than to see you all on the street. So when you try to use against some, not all, for being willing to take that ultimate sacrifice, register in your minds that some left because it was the answer of being a provider and a protector. It is easy for some to say they left because they didn't want to deal with it. Then there's another group. Nikki talking about the man didn't have to leave. Girl, gone with that foolery. Vanessa says, so you don't think the black community at large have been bamboozled? Absolutely, I believe it. I believe it strongly because, again, when I look back over a period of time, I believe that our brothers and sisters were put in situations where you could fight to stay and have nothing. I spoke to a woman not long ago, and we were just having regular conversation because I like to get facts from people that know, facts over your feelings. And let me tell you, you're talking about what if the mother left? She was leaving with no food stamps. She was leaving with no health care, no benefits, and nothing for a kid. I think that's an unfair thing to put on women at that time. Vanessa said, mothers leave, we sorry, unfit, and the list goes on. First of all, let me clear something up for you, Vanessa. A woman leaving, the man still could not get the benefits. The no-knock process, those things were designed to say if you have a man in the home, you don't qualify. Her leaving would not have done anything to assist in the provisional part. James said, if the mother left, the father wasn't getting away. There you go, James. You're right. Right on it. Now, let me clear something up. It is easy, and this is how we get caught. Somebody's got to take the blame. She's saying, Sinclair, men get the same benefits as women if they are raising the kids. I'm not talking to you today about what transpires today, Miss Moore. I'm talking to you today about what transpired over 30, 40 years, from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. I'm talking about pre-Bill Clinton putting stops on things. A man could not get the benefits of the original Welfare Act. We're not talking about today. We're talking about how black homes got broken in the first place. And this is what they did. They created a mindset where we talked about the Welfare Act. We talked about more money for more babies. Let's talk about what they did with the minority women. They created a process by which they said, hey, let's give the black woman, the minority woman, jobs even before we would give a black man a job that paid a decent wage. So once again, even when they started to wing you off of welfare, who were they willing to give the jobs to? Because they wanted to keep minority women in the mindset that I don't need a man. And do you know how many of you will quote those things 50, 60 years later? You know how many minority women will say, I don't need a man? I don't understand it. Leetta said the evolution of the broken black home. It is. Y'all are quick, some of you all, not all, are quick to say you don't need a man. Because it's easier for you to get out here and talk about you don't need one than to answer the question why you can't keep one. I wasn't even going here tonight. We were supposed to be on some pleasantries. Vanessa, I feel like black men are winning, especially an educated black man. We may be winning, or we have been uplifted in terms of what we can earn as a wage if we are educated, but we are no better off in the black homes today because many, not all, minority men still don't get no respect. You done spent 100 years or more telling men that you don't need them. You done raised your sons and daughters to either feel like he's unwanted or you're training her that she don't need him. Many black homes, minority, I'm going to say African-American or black homes, you'd be hard-pressed to find 20% of those homes where a mother is teaching her daughter how to be a wife. Oh, she may be giving her the best of advice on how to be a solid professional. We have some of the strongest black women in the world, some of the strongest women in the world doing amazing things, but are relationship deficient. You got women out here that is just as eager today to say what they don't need. So don't talk about the black man as if he's winning in his personal home, in his personal life, because we're no better off. When is the last time? Ladies, I'm just asking y'all tonight, since y'all took me down this path I did not want to go. When is the last time that you told somebody you had a good man? Do you even know what a good man looks like? When is the last time you told your man you appreciate him? Let me see what we're talking about. Ernest said, it is now modern KKK tactics. They used to burn crosses and physically take the man slave out the house. Now it's just done in a different way. Also, they arrest us more, so the criminal record diminishes the right of minority men. Absolutely, I believe it. I'm rocking with that. Science said, I don't want a cat. Cassandra, you just as crazy. Esther Shepherd, I'm glad to see you. When is the last time, people, that you heard a woman? Matter of fact, I'm going to say this. My situation and what I hear publicly is different because of this show, because of how forward I am when I talk to people in general, because I counsel, because I am in the public's eye. Yes, I hear things. Let me tell y'all something. I have heard minority women saying it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell y'all who I am going to label. There is a man named Stan out there. And I'm not going to call his last name because I didn't get permission to make him famous tonight. But there is a man named Stan, a true man named Stan. And his wife brags on him all the time. Matter of fact, was having some dialogue with her, and I noticed that her car looked extra shiny. And she said, Stan, who is an executive professional, she said, Stan don't let nobody else wash the car. Stan gets off his executive job. A black man goes to the house and hand washes the car. Stan don't take it to the drive-thru, and I'm not knocking you brothers that take cars through drive-thru, because I do it myself. But there is a brother named Stan who is an executive, who is the man of the month, because he go out there and wash the car by hand. Stan is getting the man of the month award because Stan, when he gets off work, and he knows that his wife is part of this step challenge, if you will. It doesn't matter if Stan is tired. Stan goes home and says, babe, would you like to go for a walk to get them extra steps in? That's why. When are we going to start hearing more publicly about a Stan? Some of y'all got some Stans in your life right now, but you ain't going to tell nobody. Now, if Stan was at home beating his wife, acting a fool, getting drunk, out here in these streets all night, doing absolutely everything, y'all will put that out to the public. Why can't the Stans of the world get their props? Nikki Carter talking about, I say it all the time. Nikki Carter, you lying. Nikki Carter, you are lying. You've been rocking with this show for 4-5 years. I've never, first of all, I ain't even know you had nobody. But I've definitely never heard you come on this show and say, my man, Edward, Tim, whoever his name is is a good man and give some examples. I never heard you say it. Vanessa said, this is chess for me, sir. A queen always protects the king. A king can't be a king without a queen. But remember, it goes both ways. Iron sharpens iron. Well, first of all, you are historically wrong, Vanessa. I like your theory, but you're historically wrong. A king can be a king even if he ain't married. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a happy king, but technically, you're wrong because a king can be one. But I get your message, and you're right. Vanessa said, you throwing jabs on the low? No, I'm not throwing jabs on the low. I'm calling it what it is. I know that this person ain't the only one that got a stand in her life. So I want to know, ladies, it's a lot of y'all on this show tonight. When is the last time y'all said when is the last time you gave public props to your stand? Nikki Carter said you weren't listening. Well, you know what, Nikki Carter? I'm listening right now. Go ahead. I'm going to make him famous tonight. I'm going to give you the platform. Go ahead and give your stand props. Tell us about them. Big Rod said, nah, darling, Nikki said it ain't so. And they said, well, why did God create us? Listen, I didn't say you didn't have value. It's not what I said. You need to watch more of the shows. All right. James said, Nikki, if you said it, none of us was on the show that night. Oh, you know what? I stand corrected. Annie Moore is right. Annie said, I responded last week. She definitely did. I'm giving Annie more credit because she definitely said last week she gave her man props. I stand corrected. You're right, Annie Moore. I apologize. Nikki, come on. Tell us about your stand. He preferred to remain anonymous. Nikki Carter, you know what? The problem is you said you already talked about him on the show. Now all of a sudden he want to be anonymous? Girl, get your lie right. Anybody else want to give they stand props tonight? Yeah, James. James said he heard it, Annie do hers. Anybody else? Hold on. Vanessa talk about Nikki, tell your man. I don't want to know about what you say in private. I want to know because when y'all mad, you will tear them down publicly. I'm giving y'all an opportunity tonight. If you got to stand, I ain't talking about Annie because she already stepped up to the plate and she wasn't even asked to do it. I just want to know, anybody want to take this time tonight to talk about they stand? Any of y'all? Because all I want y'all to understand, I don't care if you're listening on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, any of these platforms. I'm saying if you got a good man, you ought to be part of the movement that is creating a different narrative. Make your sons proud by giving your man props if he's a good man. I didn't ask you to recognize somebody trifling, but if everybody in your life is trifling, you the common denominator. I'm just saying. We're dealing with facts over feelings. That's what we're dealing with. Leetta done put them hands up. I don't know what them hands mean. I don't know if that means she got to stand in her life or what. April done came in late. April, we'll give you an opportunity. Right now, we're talking about we done dedicated the month of June. That this gentleman named Stan has got the Man of the Month award. I'm giving any woman that wants to right now the platform to say if she got a good man, a Stan in her life, to give him props tonight publicly. Let us make him famous. Vanessa says, where can I go to find these facts? What facts are you looking for? Everything I say. Look, this video gets posted. You could go back, rewind it, check the facts, and come back and apologize on the show next week if you want to. Anybody else want to give Hold on. Vanessa talking about only Stan I know is Stan the rent man. Yeah, it figures, because y'all ain't gonna never get out there and give some of these brothers credit. And again, all I want y'all to do is recognize, and ladies, I'm not picking on you, but I am, because in some sense, I want to know, if you ain't never found a good man, if you ain't never had a good man, why is it you done been your whole life and you can't find one? Anybody? Time ticking away. Anybody want to give a man props other than Annie Moore for being a good man tonight? Anybody? So the only woman that's on the show tonight that got a good man is Annie Moore. And that's the reason why minority men have had to deal with all of the things that they have. It's because none of y'all don't see your man as a good man. I'm just saying. We got one. The other says she got a good man. Well, we're going to let that rock then. We're going to let that rock. Yeah, Big Rod said ain't nothing but crickets out here. Ain't but 2.5 people stepped up and said they got a good man. That's Annie and Leetta. Now, Nikki tried to give us some, but we undecided on her. What's unfair? Vanessa, what is unfair? What is unfair about if you got one, stand up and say you got one? I'm just saying, if you can't find one and you ain't never had one, I ain't talking about people who got all different circumstances. I'm just saying, if you got a good man, say you got one and let that be what it is. Because if I told these brothers, if you got a good woman, stand up, most of these brothers going to stand up and say it. Because men ain't never really had a problem saying they got a good woman. Okay, Vanessa said she got a good man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now we getting somewhere. Nikki Carter said if he's a good man, he should stand up and say so. So you trying to tell me the man got to stand up and defend himself. If he's a good man, he shouldn't have to defend himself. You ought to be doing it. Ooh, girl, you get on my nerves. Ooh, Lady Elegance Pritchard said, I got a good man that stands 6'7". Look at that. Coming out the woodwork. Ladies, I'm proud of y'all. For everybody who got one that's stepping up tonight, I'm proud of y'all. Stand up for your man. Let it be known. You ain't got to worry about that chick down the street taking your man. If he your man, he your man. Nikki Carter talking about next week's show dedicated to the good woman. Nikki Carter, y'all get the whole year. I mean, we don't get but 1 month. Well, I tell y'all, nigga, that's not how it works. Absolutely, Big Rod. Please tell her. Vanessa said, how many of y'all up here got a good wife or a woman? See how y'all try to change the subject? Let me go to somebody else. Kiki said, I have a good man and he's a keeper. That's what I'm talking about, people. That's the new movement. If you got a man, let him know and let them know. Michelle Stevens said she got a good man. You know what, fellas? This the new movement that we rocking with. I'm proud of every woman who will step up and not only claim her good man, but let the world know. I don't even care if you don't say his name. You ain't got to say his name. You done took a giant step by just letting the people know. I'm not afraid to say it. You see what we got here. All right, whatever. The editor said, it is okay. We will stand up and uplift our men. That's what I'm talking about. Look, people, I'm supposed to get off at 9 o'clock, but because I own the show, I still got one little topic I want to cover. Let me see. What James talking about? James said, I do 24 years in. Okay, that's wonderful. The editor said, hashtag keeper. Let me tell y'all what question I had, and we're going to run this time as long as we're going to want to run it to get this question right here talked about. The question that I've been pondering for the last couple of weeks is this. Why in the black community do we despise snitching, but we embrace gossiping? And he said, Nikki, my man don't have to. All right, I'm rocking with that. And I said, my man help y'all to be a better man. All right. Anybody, why is it in the black community do we despise snitching, but we embrace gossiping? Ain't gossiping snitching? The only difference is one of them you telling it to the police and the other you telling it to everybody else. You done had more folks put in jail, put in prison, put in the casket, lost something because some of y'all be around here. Me said, not even a real day. But some of y'all around here, your pillow talk game done got folks and all kind of foolishness. Y'all, some of y'all can't keep your jobs, can't keep your man, can't keep nothing because you run around gossiping all the time. So I just want to know, why are we so comfortable embracing these huddle ministries, but we mad at folks when they snitch? Michelle Stevens said, so true, so true. That's what I want to know. And you ain't even got to answer it tonight, people. I want y'all to think about it, and maybe we'll start next week's show off with that. But I want y'all to ponder. When somebody says, you a rat if you snitch, don't tell the police the truth, don't let nobody know what's going on in the community, but y'all spend all day gossiping, spreading, whether it's lies or truth, somebody else's business. Most of y'all don't even know if it's true or not. Y'all take what you heard somebody else say, and you run it. All I'm telling y'all is, next week's show, we're going to start off. So I want y'all to get it in your mind so you can have some good thoughts. Why is it?
It's about that time.
That y'all love gossiping.
Oh, yeah.
But you hate
Here we
snitching.
go. Here we go.
I gotta go, people.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It's on.
Run it with your friends, come on.
Come on, come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the
Right,
mic.
said because we think gospel is information on someone else's business without any repercussions. That's my dog.
So we can talk you through, get the answers to your questions, because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health, faith is